Good Thursday evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. How are y'all all doing tonight? This is Pop here from Pop Pops Gaming. Hope everyone's doing well. We'll give it a moment and let a couple people get in chat. Hope everyone's having a great Thursday night. My chat on my screen's a little small, so let me throw it on my TV. Hope everyone's having a great night. Hey Richard, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. Tonight we're going to get into the story of one of the most famous wrestling families, as you can tell from the picture on the screen, the Von Erichs. The Von Erichs was a big wrestling family in the 80s and 90s. It started out with their father Fritz, and he passed his legacy on to his boys, Kevin, Kerry, David, and Michael. And then later on, Kerry had a daughter that got into wrestling. Y'all might remember her from when she wrestled at TNA. I do believe she might have went by like Velvet Sky or something like that. I don't really remember what her name was at TNA. And then Kevin Von Erich had two sons named Marshall and Ross, and they both still wrestle today. They're not in the major circuit like WWE or AEW. They wrestle in some of the smaller circuits. I think the biggest circuit they've been with is MLW. But anyway, the story of the Von Erichs started in them. Oh, they did their wrestling deals at a center over in Dallas. They held weekly events over there. Fritz put it on. And as a lot of y'all know, if you are wrestling fans, they had a real big interaction with the Fabulous Freebirds. If y'all are wrestling fans, y'all know the story between them and the Freebirds. They were like real big rivals. It was a rivalry beyond what is today. Like today, you got the Bloodline, which is Roman Reigns and his cousins. And then you got today's deal where it's also the group over on WWE Monday Night Raw. Oh, I can't recall their name right at the moment, but it'll come to me later. But they have the group. It's got Damian Priest and JD McDonough and Dominic Mysterio and Rhea Ripley and all them. The Judgment Day, I think is what they're called. But anyway, back in the 70s and 80s and the 90s, they were real big here in the... I live in Oklahoma, and they were real big around here because most of their shows were done like down in the Denton, Texas, Dallas, Texas area. We were huge wrestling fans back then. I was a kid when I saw one of their first matches. I got to go see Kevin and Kerry performed live one time at my local hometown. They were just performing in our local gym. So, but anyway, yeah, they were back then. You know, they had already kind of come out of the limelight when they were like real major. They weren't all together like they was back then. And a lot of them. Oh yeah, World Class Championship Wrestling. That's right. That's the name of his organization. I couldn't remember what his organization's name was. Oh yeah, they were big down here in the Dallas. You know, I live really close to Dallas. They were real big down here. My dad still has an original beta tape. Well, he's passed on now. I have the beta tape of the year they went against the Fabulous Freebirds, and they were like in a crowd of like 80,000 people down there in Dallas. I think they performed when the old Dallas Cowboy Stadium was still there. They performed there, and that's the day that Fritz Von Erich took his belt off and whipped Michael P.S. Hayes with the belt. As y'all know now, Michael P.S. Hayes is now one of the creative guys at WWE. So basically, he's like one of the only ones from that era that still like has anything to say in like the wrestling thing or anything like that. Kevin Von Erich is now retired and lives in Hawaii. I have met his sons, Marshall and Ross. I have pictures of it. I should have put the pictures of me and Marshall and Ross on here. They used to wrestle with an organization that my wife's cousin owns. It's a small organization here in Oklahoma, and the WWE and the AEW contracts him out to get some of these smaller wrestlers kind of put out there, where they're not real big names, and it's kind of like a performance center before they go to the performance center. Oh yeah, I got to see. Yeah, I'm with my great grandfather to watch Kevin Von Erich wrestle. That was a great deal. That was before he passed away and everything. That was one of the best memories I have of him. He was a big wrestling fan, and I think that's kind of where I got my wrestling fanism out of, is my great grandfather, because my grandpa, my great grandfather's son, he hated wrestling. He was one of these types, oh, it's fake, it's all staged, blah, 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 you know. Why you follow this fake crap, you know. And we all know they're just actors out there. We're all aware of that. These storylines ain't real. They don't all really hate each other. It's all for show, and it's called sports entertainment now versus wrestling. But back in the 80s, the Von Erichs were the top shit. They were the ones that you wanted to wrestle. And then later on, you know, you had the death of Mike and then Chris, and then Kerry was in that mode. He'd get to sign up with WWE before he went back when it was WWF. He signed up with WWE after he got his foot amputated, and I think in the middle of one of his matches, one of the house shows, his amputee foot fell off. I don't think they ever like really released any of that. That's kind of some of the behind the scenes thing that they don't release. Oh yeah, I love old school wrestling, but anyway, Kevin's retired now. Marshall and Ross was with MLW for a while. I have heard through the grapevine that there's a possible chance that they are training at the WWE Performance Center in Orlando, Florida. I have gotten word that that is going on. I don't know how true that is on whether or not they're really performing there or not. But anyway, so that's what I wanted to talk about tonight is the legacy of the Von Erichs. As a lot of you guys know, December 22nd, they are coming out with the new movie called The Iron Claw, which you see the thing on my screen here. It's a movie. Zac Efron is going to play the role of Kevin Von Erich in it. I haven't really looked at who the other people are that are playing the other parts or anything like that, but I do know that the guy they got playing Fritz Von Erich, he looks a lot like Fritz. I mean, he looks almost identical to him. But anyway, the Iron Claw will be out December 22nd of this year. It is the story of the Von Erichs. I do know that the Von Erichs had a live deal back in November, where they actually held their shows at. Back when Fritz ran it, they did a theatrical review at that facility. Handpicked people. We were actually invited to go to the opening of it, and we did not get to go. Something was going on with me medical wise, and we were not able to go to it. I wonder why this keeps cutting out. It might be because my son's uploading his Xbox. But anyway, so we were actually invited to the theatrical start of it in November. We chose not to go. I had a medical thing I had to attend to, so we weren't able to go down to Texas to go to it, which would have been cool. I mean, it would have been cool to see Kevin and Marshall and all them. I have seen them numerous times. I've got pictures of me with them, of Marshall and Ross, with them holding the championship belts when they wrestled local, when I got to see them that night. They're very, very good. They learned very, very well from their father. I mean, while they're already not in the limelight of that's one thing I can't understand is why they're not already in the limelight. I just don't understand